Alrighty, folks, we are 6-1 in our last 7 daily best plays on my premium site. We had the Royals minus $1.15 yesterday in that package, and of course, they scored double-digit runs against the Angels. And the good news is we have another daily best play going off here today. Costs just 6 cents a day for 30 days worth of plays. And before we go ahead and move on here, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to my Major League Baseball free pick video here today for Friday, May 10th, 2024. Happy Friday to you. Weekend's finally here. You made it. Congratulations. And of course, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks right here on YouTube since 2016. And if you want to see which one of these free plays on this video that I actually like the best, you may want to think about signing up for my daily best play package. It gives you one premium selection of mine every single day for the next 30 days. And once again, the math works out to be just 6 cents a day. Now, I do have other different packages on that site as well. You can check them out. The link is in my bio. But with that, guys, it's time for some free content. So let's go ahead and dive into it. We're going to start off with the Cubs at the Pirates, 6:40 p.m. East. Now, Pittsburgh's minus $1.30 at home, total 7 runs. Jared Jones for Pittsburgh, Javier Assad for Chicago. And got to tell you, it's real tough to fade Assad in this spot here. He's 3-0 with a 1.66 ERA. And out of the Cubs' last 10 meetings with Pittsburgh, they really put it on him offensively. They averaged over 7.2 runs a game during that time frame. Nico Horner leads the current roster in hits. Chris Morel's got the most home runs and RBI. And as good as Jared Jones has looked for Pittsburgh, the Buccos just don't want to win for the guy. Out of 41 innings of work this year, the righty Jones has just a couple of wins, as well as a losing record. And of course, most of that is due to some really poor plate appearances. These guys just don't want to score at PNC Park. The Pirates are currently dead last in the majors in run production at home. Now, injury-wise, Jason DeLay is still out for the Pirates. Dansby Swanson questionable for the Cubs. 3 out of Chicago's last 4 road games did fall under the total. They're also 7-3 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Now, the Buccos went 70% to the under in their last 10 themselves. Give me Chicago plus $1.10, under 7.5. Next game, Astros-Tigers, 6:40 p.m. East. Houston's minus $1.35, totals 8.5. Framber Valdez for the Astros, Casey Mize for Detroit. And I'll tell you what, Mize is definitely giving the Tigers opportunities to win games. He's recorded just 1 loss through 31-plus innings, and he's also got himself an ERA in the 3s. And of course, this Detroit pitching staff has been quite tough to hit against. They're currently in the top 3 in the American League in fewest hits allowed. And they're going to face a Houston lineup here today who continues to struggle on the road. They're actually one of the lower run-producing teams on the road in the American League. Alex Bregman's batting just 198. Yordan Alvarez just 245. But even if the Astros do hit well here today, it's been their pitching that's really let them down. Houston's allowing more hits a game on the road than any other franchise in baseball right now. And Framber Valdez, well, he's been no exception to that. The lefty's got just 1 win on the season with a 1.41 whip. Now, injury-wise, McCormick's still out for Houston. Mark Canha questionable for the Tigers. 3 out of Detroit's last 4 at Comerica Park did stay under the total. They're also 10-7 to the under as the home team. Now, the Astros on the other side, they're currently 67% to the under as the road team themselves. Give me Detroit plus $1.15, under 8.5. All right, next matchup, Yankees-Rays, 6:50 p.m. East. The Yankees are minus $1.35, totals 8 runs. Looks like Clark Schmidt for the Yankees, Taj Bradley making his season debut for the Rays. And if you want to see whether I'm making a play on the money line total or against the run line in this one, this game is being featured as a premium selection on my site. I can't tell you what package it's being featured in, but just know this game is in the crosshairs as a selection on my premium page. And with that, let's move on to our next matchup. It's going to be in that D-backs-Orioles game. That'll be a 7:05 Eastern first pitch. Now, Baltimore is minus a $1.40. Total is 8.5 runs. Cole Irvin for the O's. Brandon Pfaadt for Arizona. And I'll tell you what, Pfaadt continues to struggle despite his strikeout count. The righties recorded only one win on the year with an ERA of 4.61. And I'll tell you what, this Arizona pitching staff, they've certainly had a tough time getting anybody out. They're currently in the bottom 5 in the National League in hits allowed per game. And they're facing the highest run-producing lineup in the American League in Baltimore. Adley Rutschman bats .318 and leads the lineup in hits. Gunnar Henderson's got the second most home runs in baseball. But even if the O's struggle here today at the dish, they do have a good one in Cole Irvin on the hill. The lefty's got an ERA in the 2s along with a 1.07 whip. Now, injury-wise, Austin Hayes is still out for Baltimore. Gabe Moreno, questionable for Arizona. Give me the O's minus a $1.40, over 8.5. All right, next matchup, Twins, Blue Jays, 7:07 Eastern start time. Yusei Kikuchi for the Blue Jays, Joe Ryan for Minnesota. And out of 40-plus innings of work this year, the righty Joe Ryan has shown some really good stuff. He's got an ERA in the 3s along with a stingy 1.01 whip. And a lot of that is thanks to strikeouts. He's punched out 46 hitters through 40-plus innings of work. And that's really been the story with this Minnesota pitching staff, strikeouts. These guys lead the league in that particular category. And they're facing a bottom 5 run-producing lineup in the Blue Jays. Toronto lost 5 out of their last 7 games. They've had all kinds of problems on offense against Minnesota. Out of their last 10 head-to-head gatherings, the Jays got held to just 3.3 runs a game. And as far as this season's concerned, well, Bo Bichette's hitting just 191. George Springer just 206. Now, 4 out of Toronto's last 5 home games did fall under the total. They're also 67% to the under in all of their contests in their own building. Give me Minnesota plus $1, under 7.5. Next matchup, Braves, Mets, 7:10 Eastern start time. Atlanta's minus 145, totals 8 runs. Charlie Morton for the Braves, Jose Quintana for New York. And the lefty Quintana is off to a rocky start for the Mets. He's just 1-3 with an ERA in the 5s. Of course, the Mets are also playing their worst baseball in Flushing, Queens. They've currently got themselves a losing record at Citi Field. And they're going to face Charlie Morton here today, who's definitely off to a strong start himself for Atlanta. The righty's got a 1.14 whip. He's yet to receive a loss in 36 innings of work. And I'll tell you what, if Morton does end up struggling here today, well, I don't think it's going to matter. Atlanta can outscore anybody. They've got one of the most powerful lineups in the major leagues. And I'll tell you what, in their last 10 head-to-head gatherings with the Mets, that's certainly been no exception. Atlanta's averaging over 7.1 runs a game during that time frame. Of course, as far as this year's concerned, well, Marcell Ozuna leads the major leagues in home runs and RBI. Ronald Acuna is second in the lineup in hits. Now, injury-wise, Murphy's still out for the Braves. Alvarez inactive for New York. 4 out of New York's last 5 home games did fall under the total. They're also 60% to the under in their last 10 at any location. Now, Atlanta saw 9 out of their last 10 stay under the total themselves. Give me the Braves minus 145, under 8. All right, next contest. Another divisional game here in the NL East. Phillies, Marlins, 7:10 Eastern start time. Philadelphia's minus $2, total 7.5. Ranger Suarez for the Titans. Trevor Rogers for Miami. And the lefty Rogers, as I tell you, he's done really nothing for the Marlins this season. Pretty true of the entire roster. This whole roster has really stunk up the joint. But Rogers is 0-5 with an ERA in the 6s And this Marlins pitching staff has been brutal in South Florida. These guys allow more runs a game at home than any other club in the league. And unfortunately for them, the Phillies pound the baseball. One of the best run-producing teams in the league. Alec Boehm's in the top 5 in the majors in both batting average and runs batted in. Bryce Harper leads the lineup in home runs. And I'll tell you this much, the Phils, they're not going to need a whole lot of run production with Ranger Suarez on the bump. The lefty's 6-0 with an ERA of 1.72. Now Turner is still out for the Phillies. Garcia inactive for Miami. The Marlins did go 7-3 to the over in their last 10. They're also 70% to the over in all of their home games. Now, the Phillies on the other side saw 7 out of their last 10 get over the posted total themselves. Give me the Phillies minus 1.5 over 7.5 runs. Next game, Nationals, Red Sox, 7:10 Eastern start time. Boston's minus $2, totals 8.5. Tanner Houck for Boston, Patrick Corbin for Washington. And even though Corbin stinks, they really should. Sorry, brain fart. Corbin stinks. I get this. They really should think about taking him out of the rotation. The Nats are playing .500 baseball. They're actually winning games. You don't need Patrick Corbin in the rotation losing you games. But, anyway, sorry, I was really just kind of trying to process what I was trying to say there. Washington's .500. They're winning games. You don't need, they're not tanking yet. But anyway, Corbin's just been a tanking pitcher. He's a warm body to put on the bump over the past couple of years. But anyway, Washington plays their best baseball on the road. So even if Corbin does what he does and gives up, runs, they may still be able to cash in on that run line because Washington's 14-5 against the number in their travels. That's good for 74% in that category. They're a great run line team on the road. And they're facing a Boston club who has not been great against the number themselves. The Red Sox are covering in just 31% of their contests at Fenway, and their biggest issue at the plate has been strikeouts. They just can't make contact. The Red Sox are striking out more times a game than any other lineup in the league besides 2. Sadie Raphael is hitting just .213, second most strikeouts on the roster, and of course, Jarren Duran has the most strikeouts on the team. Now, injury-wise, Heineman and Yoshida are out for Boston. Gallo and Thomas inactive for Washington. Kind of combined those names, Gallus. Anyway, 3 out of Washington's last 5 road games did get over the posted total. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Nationals plus 1.5 over 8.5 runs. All right, next game I have for you, it is going to be Guardians-White Sox. That'll be a 7:40 Eastern start time. Another divisional matchup there. Chicago's minus $1.20, total 7.5. Garrett Crochet for the Sox, Carlos Carrasco for Cleveland. And even though Carrasco's struggled this year, he does not have a losing record on this season. As a matter of fact, the Guardians as a team, they're 10 games above .500, and they're actually one of the better run-producing clubs in the American League. And I'll tell you what, they're facing Garrett Crochet, who's 2-4 on the mound with an ERA in the 5s for the Sox. Now, Crochet is also backed by the lowest run-producing lineup in the Bigs. These guys score fewer runs than anyone. Andrew Vaughn hits just .194, Benintendi just .189. Now, injury-wise, Mendick and Luis Robert. We gave him a Spanish name and a French name, Luis Robert. No, it's Mendick and Robert. They are out for the Sox. Stephen Kwan inactive with a hammy for Cleveland. Now, 6 out of the Guardians' last 10 ball games did fall under the total. Meanwhile, Chicago went 60% to the under in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Guardians plus $1 under 7.5. All right, next matchup, another divisional contest here. Cardinals, Brewers, 8:10 p.m. East. Milwaukee's $1.45 on their own field, totals 8.5. Lance Lynn for the Cardinals. Robert Gasser making his debut for the Brewers here. Now, I'll tell you what, Gasser was not great in spring training, and he did also struggle at AAA Nashville this season. He allowed 4 homers and a dozen innings of work this season in the minors, and he also had a 5.25 ERA. And I'll tell you what, out of 3 starts in spring training this year with a mix of the big boys and the minor leaguers, the lefty finished the preseason with an ERA in the 6s. Now, as a team, the Brewers have certainly had their issues cashing in on the run line. Out of 15 ball games in their own building, Milwaukee's covered the number just 6 times. And I'll tell you what, they're going to have to face Lance Lynn on the mound for St. Louis, and he's done a real nice job for him thus far. Lynn's got himself an ERA in the low 3s, and I'll tell you what, he's yet to record a loss in 35-plus innings. And even if this St. Louis pitching staff, listen, these Cardinal pitchers have shown decent control. I know they're not setting the world on fire, but they are walking just 2.7 batters a game. That's amongst, the better teams in the league in that category. Now, injury-wise, Carpenter and Contreras are still out for the Redbirds. Joey Weimer inactive for Milwaukee. When it comes to the total, the Brewers are 67% to the over as the home team. Give me St. Louis plus 1.5, over 8. All right, next matchup here, Rangers, Rockies, 8:40 p.m. East. Texas is minus $1.80, totals 9.5. John Gray for Texas, Austin Gomber for Colorado. Now, Gomber is winless on the season through 38 innings of work. The Rockies lost 8 out of their last 10, and they currently have a .333 win percentage at home. And most of that is due to pitching problems. Colorado's allowing over 10.4 hits a game at Coors Field. And unfortunately for them, they're facing one of the highest, actually not one of them, they're facing the highest run-producing team on the road in the game. Nobody's scoring more runs a game away from home than Texas. And, of course, a lot of that is thanks to Adolis Garcia, who's got the 6th most RBI in the majors. Jonah Heim's hitting 300 at the dish. I saw a clip on TikTok the other day of Garcia taking BP with an aluminum bat. It was actually that number 2 pencil bat. He was just jacking those things. Garcia should be playing linebacker somewhere. But anyway, even if the Rangers do have problems at the plate, they are in good hands with John Gray on the mound. The righty's got an ERA of 2.50, and he's recorded only 1 loss on the year. Now, injury-wise, Langford's out for Texas. Bryant and Jones inactive for Colorado. Now, 4 out of the Rangers' last 7 road games did get over the total. They're also 60% to the over this year when they bat first. Give me the Rangers minus 1.5, over 10. Next matchup, Royals, Angels, 9:38 Eastern first pitch. Kansas City's minus $1.25, totals 8.5. Alec Marsh for Kansas City, Griffin Canning for the Angels. And even though Canning's been terrible, these Angel bats have definitely come alive a bit over the past couple of days. They ended up averaging over 5.9 runs a game in their last 3 outings. And they're facing a Royals club who really doesn't play their best on the road. Actually playing just .500 baseball away from Kauffman Stadium. And a lot of that is due to their hitting, or lack thereof. The Royals are a bottom 10 hit-producing lineup in their travels. Hunter Renfroe's hitting just .146. MJ Melendez just .182. Now, injury-wise, Sano and Drury still out for the Angels. Mike Trout, of course, still inactive as well. 3 out of the Angels' last 4 home games did get over the post total. They're also 60% to the over in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Angels plus 105, over 8.5. Next game, Dodgers, Padres. Little NL West action here, 9:40 p.m. East. The Dodgers are minus $1.65 away from home, total 7.5. Tyler Glasnow for the Dodgers, Michael King for San Diego. Now the righty King comes into today's game with an ERA in the 4s, along with a 1.40 whip. And I tell you what, these Padres pitchers have really had a hard time at Petco Park. They're in the bottom 5 in runs allowed on their own diamond. And they're going to have to face an absolute offensive juggernaut in Los Angeles. The Dodgers are they're actually the top run-producing team in the game, in the majors. And out of their last 10 gatherings with San Diego, the Dodgers averaged over 7.1 runs per contest. Now, as far as this season's concerned, Shohei Ohtani leads the league in batting average and OPS. No wonder they really kind of swept that gambling thing under the rug. Good thing they had a scapegoat for that because Shohei is definitely he's the best player in the game. Got to protect him. Teoscar Hernandez, he also has the most RBI on the roster. And even if the Dodgers have a tough time with Michael King on the mound here today, well, they've got a good one in Tyler Glasnow. Tyler's 6-1 with an ERA of 2.70. The righties also fanned 63 hitters already, along with a stingy .92 whip. Give me the Dodgers minus 165. The next game, A's M's, 9:40 p.m. East. Seattle's minus $1.40, total 7. Brian Wu for the Mariners, Paul Blackburn for Oakland. And as good as Blackburn's been, well, this Oakland lineup doesn't hit for shit. These guys are dead last in hits per game on the road. Ryan Noda hits 128, Butler just 174. And they're facing Brian Wu, who looked decent in spring training. Struck out 11 batters in 8+ innings. Actually finished the preseason with a .84 whip. And these Seattle pitchers as a whole, they've been very tough to hit against just this year in general. These guys allow a league-low 6.7 hits a game. Now, injury-wise, Crawford and Canzone are still out for the Mariners. Geloff and Andujar inactive for Oakland. Oakland's last 3 divisional road games did fall under the total. Meanwhile, Seattle's 5-1 the under against AL West opponents themselves. Give me the Mariners minus $1.40, under 7. And with that, folks, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the video. It's going to be in that it's going to be the Reds against the Giants, 10:15 Eastern first pitch. San Francisco's $1.45, total 7.5. Logan Webb for the Giants, Andrew Abbott for Cincinnati. And of course, both pitchers coming into today's game with some concerns, actually. Cincy's Abbott recorded only 1 win through 38 innings of work this year. As a matter of fact, he's just 1-4 on the season. And of course, on the other side of things, Logan Webb, he's got a 1.38 whip for San Francisco. Does not have a winning record himself. Give me the over 7.5. And with that, folks, let's go ahead and dive into our quick pick recap here. Give me the Cubs plus $1.10, under 7.5. Actually, let's just skip the quick pick recap. I'll put it in the comments. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium page. Now, if you do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks that Chairman Package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. Gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. As an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman Podcast, absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, folks, happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium site at patreon.com/BrockPage.